So if you're the kind of human being who actually likes getting their arse off the sofa and going outdoors to do all kinds of crazy active type stuff, then you might be looking for a rugged smartwatch to accompany you on your assaults on nature, and that's where the Amazfit T-Rex Pro fits in. This is definitely one of the more durable smartwatches that I've tested out in quite some time. Amazfit's slogan for it is "Explore your instincts," although if, like me, your instincts are basically to hide from reality by cowering under your duvet with a bottle of single malt, then maybe just ignore that. With its tough water-resistant design, its strong battery life and its excellent fitness tracking as well, the Amazfit T-Rex Pro is definitely designed for lots of active outdoor use. I've been rocking it on my wrist for a few days now, so here's an in-depth look at that Amazfit T-Rex Pro. And for more of the latest greatest tech, please do subscribe and ding that notifications bell. Cheers! Now first of all, you've got a choice of 3 colours when it comes to the Amazfit T-Rex Pro. You can grab it in a meteorite black, desert grey, or this here steel blue version. I'm not sure that any of those things are actually those colours, but whatever, moving on. And the Amazfit has rather cheekily described this as a metal sprayed bezel. In other words, it's basically just plastic with a metallic style sort of paint job to it. Despite being made of plastic though, the Amazfit T-Rex Pro has definitely got a decent heft to it at just shy of 60 grams, but you know, like most rugged smartwatches, once you slap it on your wrist, you get used to wearing it. You kind of forget it's even there. You've got 22mm silicone straps slapped on this thing, nice and comfortable even if you're wearing them basically non-stop. They are not removable though, unlike quite a lot of other smartwatches. But yeah, certainly well suited to exercise anyway. Certainly when your skin's getting all hot and sweaty, I never came out in any kind of rashes or horrible nasty stuff. And yeah, sure, you can never accuse the Amazfit T-Rex Pro of being an attractive smartwatch. It's quite a chunky monkey, quite blocky, but of course it's not designed for the aesthetics, it's designed to be tough as heck. This bad boy has survived 15 military grade tests. It is shock absorbent, helped along by the fact that you've got that tempered glass screen, and the bezel helps to protect it as well because it's kind of sunken in there. It can tolerate hot and cold temperatures to extreme degrees. It's water resistant down to depths of around 10 atmospheres. So basically, on the double hard bastard scale, it is definitely worthy of 4.5 Jason Stathams out of 5. Now, if you've never had an Amazfit watch before, the good news is setup is nice and simple, just using the Zepp app, which you can download from the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store. This allows you to track your progress with all of your fitness stats and everything. If you dive into profile as well, you'll be able to see your Amazfit watch in there under My Devices, and this is where you do a lot of the setup, get it exactly functioning how you want. So for instance, you can play around with the notification support on here, saying exactly which apps will cause you to get an alert, and there's basically support for pretty much everything you would expect. This is where you can also play around with some various app settings and actually say which order the apps will appear in the menu. And back to the actual T-Rex Pro itself, and what you got here is a 1.3-inch AMOLED display, 360 by 360 pixel resolution, so images are nice and crisp and colors are reasonably poppy too. If you pull down the Amazfit T-Rex Pro's settings menu, you'll see you've got access to your screen brightness in there, and these fiddly little icons, as you see. It's set to automatic by default, which does a pretty decent job on a day-to-day basis, but at any point you can knock that off and manually tweak it if you want to boost it all the way up, for instance. On that top brightness, it's reasonably clear outdoors. And yes, you do have an always on display feature as well, because it's an OLED screen. You can activate that in the Zepp app, but of course having that turned on will impact your battery life quite a bit. One problem with the Amazfit watches is they're not exactly massively customizable, so you can change up that watch face, but you've got a very limited selection of other watch faces that you can play around with. And yes, you can download fresh watch faces via that Zepp app, but we're not exactly talking a massive selection here. You know, you've got a few analog ones, a few digital ones, and some where you can set a custom background. So as an example, here's one that I made earlier, Blue Peter style. And navigating around the Amazfit watch UI is very simple stuff indeed. So I've already showed you the settings menu where you can play around with some of the main sort of features and toggles. I do find this menu incredibly fiddly to play around with because the icons are so tiny. I quite often accidentally mistap them, or it takes me a couple of taps to actually get involved. As you can see, you've got battery saver modes. You can really highlight, illuminate that screen as a torch style function. You've got do not disturb modes, all of that good stuff. The notifications handling is basic at best on Amazfit watches. You can access the notifications menu with a swipe like so, and then tap your way into an app. As you can see, the presentation is very limited, and you've got absolutely bugger all interaction that you can do. You can't delete an email, you can't respond. If you flick up, you'll be able to quickly check out all of your health stats for the day. So for instance, how many steps you've taken, your PAI, how your heart rate's been doing, and you've also got fast access to that SpO2 tracker too. And then swipey swipe this away and you've got fast access to all of your various apps which come pre-installed on the T-Rex Pro. Sadly, it's not like WearOS where you can download fresh apps. All of these apps are basically what you see is what you get. Thankfully, it is a comprehensive selection of apps as you would expect from a fitness tracker. You've got lots of fitness bits like heart rate tracker and SpO2. You can track your workouts and activities. You've got a weather app, alarms and timers and all of that good stuff. You've got a compass, a barometric altimeter. Oh, Jesus. And while you do have a music app on here as well, sadly, that basically just controls the music that's playing on your smartphone. You can't actually load up the Amazfit T-Rex Pro with your own tunes to listen to as you're pounding the pavement. Still, that minor grumble aside, at least the media controls actually do what they're supposed to. You can pause and play your music, you can skip tracks, and you can even mess about with the volume without having to pull your phone out of your pocket. And you may have noticed as well that the Amazfit T-Rex Pro comes with count them, four physical buttons around those edges, which is great news if for whatever reason you can't prod the screen because you're wearing gloves because you're hiking up a mountain, or maybe the screen's a bit moist because you're swimming. And these work really, really well. You can call up the apps menu quickly and easily. You can actually scroll through them and find exactly what app you're looking for and then load it up. When it comes time to track your workout, well, I definitely have no complaints there whatsoever. You've got a massive selection of stuff to choose between. If we go on to the more section, you'll see just how much stuff you got there. You got a specific dance workouts, indoor sports, outdoor sports, swimming, of course, because of the water resistance, boxing, ball sports, where hey, you got water sports, FNAR, winter sports like skiing and snowboarding, and what's in the others? Let's check that out. Got jump and rope, archery, equestrianism, I can never pronounce that. And driving is apparently exercise, Bananarama. During the workouts, your T-Rex Pro screen is locked by default, which is great news, so you don't accidentally brush it, and of course it won't be balked by water as well if you're swimming. And as you can see there, you've got quick and easy access to your workout time, your heart rate, and how many calories you've burned so far. And then at the end of the session, you'll be able to see exactly how long it went on for, how many calories that you burned, which seems sort of reasonably accurate as far as these smartwatches go. You can see your median heart rate and your maximum heart rate. It gives you a breakdown of your heart rate zones, all of the good stuff that you would expect. The T-Rex Pro basically uses the same Amazfit BioTracker 2 sensor setup as the Amazfit Watch GT2e, the G2S2e, all the other ones that they've released in 2021, a couple of which I've reviewed right here on the channel. And certainly in my testing so far, seems to be perfectly accurate for your heart rate monitoring. You do have the 24-hour heart rate monitoring on there if you like, the SpO2 measurements, all that good stuff. You've got onboard GPS tracking for the outdoor hiking and running and all that good stuff as well. So it's got all the features you would expect from a fitness tracker, except for potentially the ability to store music on there to listen to, so you can just leave your smartphone at home. And like the other Amazfit watches, the T-Rex Pro can also do you a good bit of sleep tracking as well if you don't mind having this mighty morpho strapped to your wrist all night long. You can check out exactly how good your sleep sessions have been in the Zepp app, which breaks down your light sleep, your deep sleep, and any moments where you're awake as well. The sleep recording isn't always 100% accurate and successful, unfortunately. So for instance, last night I reckoned I passed out at around 9 o'clock in the evening. That's pretty pathetic even for me. I managed to make it until midnight. So this period of time was just drinking on the sofa basically. It is quite good if you want to see pretty much roughly how much deep sleep you're getting, and it can give you some advice as well. Have a nice cup of hot milk before going to bed and keep a good mood. So don't do what I do then and have half a bottle of scotch and cry yourself to sleep. You can also rate your wake up mood. I'm definitely not droopy in the mornings, that's for sure, ladies. And let's finish up this Amazfit T-Rex Pro review with a look at the battery life. And crammed inside of that chunky chassis, you've got a 390 milliamp capacity cell. Now Amazfit reckons that'll give you around 18 days of typical use or 9 days of heavy use. But if I've learned anything from reviewing Amazfit smartwatches, it's that their battery life estimates tend to be a little bit optimistic. So while I've been testing out the T-Rex Pro, I've scheduled the always on display so it's only active while I'm active myself. It turns off at night. I've got the auto brightness on, 24-hour heart rate tracking. I tend to do one sort of bit of exercise about 20-25 minutes a day, which I track as well. And then apart from that, I'm just using it for notifications, occasionally a timer, something like that. It's a pretty heavy use, but I certainly get nowhere near 9 days of life per charge. It's more like 4 to 5 days, 5 days at a stretch. So while that's still better than quite a lot of smartwatches out there, the likes of your Apple Watches, your Oppo Watches, your WearOS efforts, it's not as good as the likes of the Huawei Watches, the likes of the Huawei Watch GT2e, for instance. But certainly if you're going for an extended Wet n Wild weekend in the wilderness, something like that, then the Amazfit Watch T-Rex Pro will not need charging, you'll be absolutely fine. And if you do find yourself running on dregs, there's always the battery saver modes to fall back on. So there you have it, that's my full tour of the Amazfit Watch T-Rex Pro. It can be yours right now for 139 quid here in the UK, or $189 I believe it is stateside. If you want to see more from Amazfit, I've reviewed the GTS2e and the GTR2e right here. I've also compared both of those with the original GTS2 and the GTR2 as well. Love that Amazfit action, can't get enough. And for more on the latest and greatest tech, please do poke subscribe, ding that notifications bell, and have yourselves a fantastic rest of the week. Cheers everyone, love you.